This is lesson 2.4 on rotations. The essential question here is, what are the three basic ways to move an object in a plane? So now the meaning of the word to rotate is, if you think of like a bicycle wheel, it can rotate clockwise, which means it goes the same direction that the hands of a clock go, or it can go counterclockwise, which is going to be the opposite direction that the hands of the clock goes. And there are three basic ways to move an object on a flat surface. This first one we talked about before, which is to translate the object. The second one here is to reflect the object. And this last one here is to rotate, which is what we're going to talk about today. So, a rotation or turn is a transformation in which the figure is rotated about a point called the center of rotation. The number of degrees a figure rotates is the angle of rotation. In a rotation, the original figure and its image are going to be congruent. So they're going to be the same shape and size. Now remember, if you're going around, that if you go from here to here, that's 90 degrees. If you go all the way to down here, that's 180 degrees. Mind you, this is clockwise. If we go to the third line here, that's going to be 270. Because if you went all the way around, remember the degrees of a circle are 360 degrees. So now identifying a rotation. It says here that we must rotate the puzzle piece 270 degrees clockwise around point P, which is right there, to fit into a puzzle. Which piece fits in the puzzle as shown? So which one is this rotated 270 degrees? So now if we're looking at this, you're going to take your puzzle piece and it's going clockwise. So remember I said 1 is 90, 2 is 180, and 3 is going to be 270. So if you were to do it 90, it would look like this shape. 180, this one. And go all the way to 270, it would look like this shape, which is our C right here. So that's rotated 270. If you notice here, A is 90, and our B right here is 180. So let's look at another example. We're going to rotate this figure. The vertices of the trapezoid are -4, 2, -3, 4, -1, 4, and -1, 2. So here it is already drawn, because like I said, my pen doesn't like to draw this very well. So what are the coordinates of the image if it's rotated 180 degrees around the origin? Remember, the origin is 0, 0 right here. So if we rotate it 180 degrees, so we're going to go from here to here, and then another 90, so it should be down here in this third quadrant. So to rotate it, the vertices of the trapezoid here, now what happens with the coordinates of the image? If you notice, it was -1, 2, now it's 1, -2. So going 180, we ended up changing both signs. See, if we had done 90, it would have been here, and do 180, it goes right there. I think rotations are sometimes the hardest to try to figure out. How about rotating a figure here? The vertices of the triangle are 1, 2, 4, 2, and 1, -3. And it wants to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Remember, counterclockwise is going this direction about the vertex. So what are the new coordinates of the image? But one thing we have to remember here is it's not asking us this time to rotate around the origin. It's asking us to rotate around L, this point. So turning it 90 degrees this way, L's going to stay the same. But my J will end up coming down and being right there. And then my K is going up 3. So it would be right on the x-axis. So then when I would connect those lines, I'd have the figure like this. So we're going to plot K prime, so the segment KL and KL, and the prime KL and KL are congruent, form a 90-degree angle. So use a similar method to plot the point J and connect the vertices. So let's look at example 4. Sometimes we're asked to find more than one transformation. So it's telling us here that we've got a rectangle at -3, -3, 1, -3, 1, -5, and -3, -5. So that's going to be our rectangle that we start with. This is A, B, C, and D. And it's telling us to rotate the rectangle 90 degrees clockwise. Remember, clockwise is this way. About the origin. So again, about the origin. So then we're going to reflect it on the y-axis. So first I'm going to start off, it tells me to do the rotation first. So you got to think and visualize this. This is 3 across, so we're going to go 3 up and put a point. This one's 1 to the right, so we're going to go 1 down. And then these are going to be right there. So our first transformation should get a figure that looks like this when we connect all those dots. This is rotated 90 degrees clockwise. But now we're asked to reflect it over the y-axis. And if you remember the y-axis, which is labeled right here, is this one going up and down right here. So you're looking at reflecting it. Remember, I'm going 3 to the left, I go 3 to the right and put a point. 5, 5. Again, 3 and 5. So when I draw my new figure, it should look like this rectangle. This is the reflect of the rotated figure in the axis. So the new coordinate points are going to be 3, 3, 3, -1, 5, -1, and 5, 3. So let's look here at example 5, describing a sequence of transformations. So this red figure is congruent to the blue figure. Describe a sequence of transformations in which the blue figure is the image of the red figure. So we're starting off with the red figure. What could I do to this red figure in order to move it and make it look like the blue figure? You can turn the red figures 90 degrees so that it has the same orientation as the blue figure. So we begin with a rotation. After rotating, you need to slide the figure up. So one possible sequence of the transformations is a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation about the origin, which we would end up, let me change my color here and kind of show you what I'm looking at, is we would have this shape that's kind of, this point would stay at the origin, this one would go down to, this one would be at 4, and this one there. So we would have this kind of shape right here, this real light green, this is going to be that rotated shape. Now then we would translate it up 4 units. So we would take that green shape and move it up 4 units, and we would have my blue shape here. So this green one here is just that rotation about the 90-degree axis, and then the blue would be translated up 4. When you get done with your notes, bring them up to me to make sure that they're finished, and get started on your Clever assignment.